My friend, if you're over the age of 40, I think there's two possible paths that your life can take at this moment. The first one is you becoming quieter, you becoming smaller. You watch younger people get more opportunities that for things that you're actually more qualified for than them. And you sort of feel that ache of invisibility get stronger and stronger every year until you kind of feel like you're forgetting what it feels like to be seen. Now, in the other version, something altogether different happens. You decide that you have a voice. You decide that you want to have a platform. You decide that you want to put your message out there to reach the people that are looking to hear from someone who's just like you and to gain from the experience that you have. Both of those futures are possible and both of them are very real, and they depend on the decisions that you make now for what you want to do moving forward. Do you want to stay in invisibility, or do you want to take a path that allows you to be seen, to be connecting, to be effective? Personally, I'm choosing path two, and I want to help you to be able to choose that path as well, because I know that you have significant things to offer and significant experience to share. If you've been starting to feel more and more invisible, today's a day that we can really change that trajectory. Hey, if we're just meeting for the first time, my name is Diane. I've started this YouTube channel to help my fellow folks who are over the age of 40 to have more opportunities for impact and learn possibly some ways to earn some income while that impact increases. All right, back to those two paths. And before we dive into more of the solution, I think it might be good to just be a little honest about where we are right now. And I think maybe you might recognize some of yourself in this description. Maybe you've noticed that your contributions at work are getting less and less acknowledgement than they used to. And you see that your ideas are becoming a lot less interesting to people, even though at this point in your life, you have more experience and wizened insights to share than ever before. Maybe you've caught yourself in the mirror and you had that moment of disconnect. Like, when did this happen? When did I become a person that people just kind of start looking past? Maybe your kids are grown and out of the house at this point, and your identity as a mom or dad has shifted. And you're really proud of who your kids are becoming, but you're beginning to think, well, who am I becoming? What's my identity and purpose now? Or maybe it's simpler and more painful than that. When you speak, you feel like your voice is just going into the void. Like really no one's listening anymore. And you feel like you're becoming optional, maybe in your own life. If any of this resonates with you, I want to encourage you to understand something that you're actually at an important point that's a fork in the road. You can choose which version of you're going to pursue for the next 20 and 30 years of your life. So let's talk about what happens if you choose the first path, the one where you remain invisible, the one where you just feel like every day you're fading a little bit more away into obscurity. I know it feels like the easier choice. There's no risk to it. There's no real discomfort. There's no putting yourself out there as we're told to do. You're just gracefully accepting what is supposed to happen to you at this age. But here's what that path actually costs you. Your confidence continues to erode. Not all at once, but just bit by bit. Every time somebody talks over you when you're sharing something. Every time your perspective is dismissed, every time you feel like you have something to say, but you decide, I just better stay quiet. The person you used to be, who had opinions and insights and took up space, is starting to become someone you don't even feel like you know anymore. The gap between who you are and who you were feels like it's starting to get wider with every passing day. You know you have value, you know you've learned things that actually have benefit to bring to people, but if the world isn't seeing that anymore, you begin to really doubt yourself as to whether that's actually true. Maybe they're right. Maybe what I had to offer really isn't relevant anymore. Here's what choosing this path really does. You miss the chance to make a real impact at this point. Right now, today, there are people who are struggling with the exact things that you have already kind of gone through and learned from. They need your perspective. They need your hard won wisdom through going through those things. But they'll never find you if you just decide to stay silent. And they'll keep making those same mistakes when you have the opportunity to be able to speak into the challenge that they're going through right now. But here's what might actually be the biggest cost of choosing the path of invisibility, whether intentionally or whether by, I'm not going to do anything else. you could be robbing yourself of what could become your best chapter yet. These years ahead really could be about freedom. They could be about finally doing what you want, about building something meaningful, about connecting with people who actually value what you bring to the table, about mattering. But none of that will actually happen if you choose path one, because path one is making yourself fade away until you actually disappear. Okay, let's switch paths now and talk about path two, the one where you actually refuse to accept that invisibility is your destiny. This is the path where you find a platform for your voice, where you build something of your own, where you're actually connecting with people who need to hear what you have to offer, where you're reclaiming the narrative about who you are and what you are bringing. And for thousands of people over the age of 40, that platform is YouTube. Now, before you just respond with, "Oh, I've heard all this before, Diane," and your brain starts listing all the reasons why that's not even a possibility for you, stick with me for just a second and let me tell you some aspects of how people are getting real results in circumstances where they never would have thought that it was possible for them to do so.
Hey, could I just ask you really quick to hit subscribe on the channel? I hope this is bringing you value. I hope my other videos too. And honestly, I just really love to be able to stay in touch.
YouTube is not just for 20 somethings who are just doing get ready with me videos and makeup tutorials. It's not about gamers. It's not about people who have incredible knowledge about technology. It's not just about people who feel and look really comfortable on camera, clearly. I think YouTube has become one of the most powerful platforms for people over 40, honestly, especially for women over 40, to gain back that aspect of their visibility. Having a YouTube channel can go a long ways in helping to rebuild your confidence and giving you the opportunity to feel like you're having meaningful impact. And the beautiful thing about it is that your age is not a disadvantage on YouTube. Actually, I would argue that it's really your greatest asset. Because there are millions of people that are tired of hearing and getting advice from people their own age. They want perspective from someone who's actually lived through some things. They want to benefit from people who've made the mistakes and learn what they know so they don't have to go through the mistakes themselves. That can be people younger and that can be peers as well. The honest thing that people want is they want you. They want the real you. They don't want the overly filtered, the perfective, the trying to look younger version. They want what you are bringing authentically to the table. When we're bringing our wrinkles and our gray hair and our reading glasses, we're bringing the signal that we have a right to have an opinion because we've learned some things in our days. Now, let me break down why YouTube is such a powerful tool in choosing path two as opposed to path one. YouTube gives you a stage that's entirely yours. Nobody can interrupt you mid sentence. Nobody can dismiss your idea before you even get a chance to explain it. Nobody can talk over you and redirect your attention to somebody else. You get to say exactly what you want to say in the way that you want to say it. And maybe that's the first time you felt this way in years. Another reason is that the magic of the YouTube algorithm is actually what connects you with your people in this circumstance. The more you're putting out content, the more that YouTube gets to know who you are and what you offer. And it does, however, it does to bring the people who are looking for those things to the people who are offering them. Now, granted, it may not be thousands at a time. It might very well be something that builds over time. But as you continue to put out who you are and what you offer in videos on your channel, YouTube does a much better job of finding the people that are going to directly benefit because they get a sense of what those people are looking for and they see you as a credible solution to put your videos in front of them. Reason number three is something that I see happen consistently here is that creating content helps you to build your confidence and your sense of personal stability the more you do it. Every time you hit record and post, it's an action of taking defiance against that invisibility feeling. And every comment that you receive on your videos from the people who are watching them that says, "Thank you, you really helped me," or "Man, this is exactly what I've been looking for," only helps to reestablish the confidence that you're building and the sense that what you're doing is actually helping someone else. I know you might be thinking, well, there's also jerks who will leave things too. Well, there's also jerks in every aspect of life. So, pull up your bootstraps and let's keep going and forget about the people who might be the negative and continue our focus on the people that can benefit from what we have to offer. And let's not negate the fact that YouTube teaches us a whole lot of skills that are transferable into other parts of our lives. We learn how to communicate better. We learn how to think maybe strategically about the things that we're putting our channel with, looking at analytics and stuff. It's not all stuff that you need to know by day one by any stretch. But the more you do it and the more you get better at it and the more experience you have and the opportunity to learn, these are skills that are going to carry over and help your confidence in a lot of other arenas as well. And I'm honest in saying that there are a lot of opportunities for income streams with a YouTube channel. In fact, I put together a PDF that has about 200 ideas of ways that you can earn income from a YouTube channel. Now, that may not be why you want to start, and I think we're talking about different reasons than that. But it's a benefit that I don't want you to be unaware of, that you can create digital products, that you can have coaching services, that there are ways that brand partnerships seek out people over the age of 40 because there's not a big audience of people doing that. So they might be seeking you to be a spokesperson the more that your channel builds. It's not going to happen from day one, but it's something that I just want you to have in mind that, especially as you're approaching and maybe in retirement, you have an opportunity to earn some extra income from this as well. That PDF that I talked about is linked down in the description. It's a free download for you. I hope you take a look at it. But bottom line is, I think one of the biggest benefits that I want you to think about is that a YouTube channel helps you to bring back your own narrative. It allows you to say what you want to say. It gives you the place to do it. The invisibility can, in fact, be pushed back by the fact that you're establishing yourself, you're establishing your voice, and you have the opportunity to reach an audience who can really benefit from what you have to say. That's path two. That's what happens when you actively and intentionally push back against invisibility. So we're back at that fork in the road now. You have the two paths in front of you. One is no risk. One takes you where you know it's going to take you. One doesn't push back against anything that's already making you feel uncomfortable. And the more that you shrink back, the more that you shrink down, the less space you're taking up and the more invisible you feel. Path two is uncertain. It requires you to do things that might make you feel uncomfortable. It requires you to stretch in some things where you do have to learn a few of the aspects of having a YouTube channel. It doesn't require enormous amounts of tech skills by any stretch because honestly, you can do everything with your phone. But it requires you to push back out of that comfort zone. It requires you to make decisions that, okay, I do have something to say and I'm willing to put it out there. But with that, it gives you the possibility of reclaiming your voice when you feel like you might not have one anymore. So I want to ask yourself in the perspective of what path you might want to choose, thinking what things might feel like 20 years from now. Will you have wanted to take the path that keeps you silent and small? Or will you have wanted to take a path that has allowed you to keep gaining, to keep growing, to have an opportunity to speak, to be seen, and to have an impact? I really hope you'll consider path two. So if you're ready to push back against the inactivity of path one and to intentionally choose a path of transformation with path two, here's practically what that would look like. First, you just have to give yourself permission. You have to give yourself to be a beginner. You have to give yourself permission to say, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm just going to take steps to try. I'm going to figure out what it is that I want to talk about on a channel. I want to figure out what it feels like to prop my phone up on some books and just start talking to it. Then I'm going to figure out what it feels like to take that file and push back the fear and actually hit post and get my first video out there. Just give yourself permission. But the best thing is, give yourself permission to give yourself time to figure it out. You don't have to be professional in week one. There are very easy ways to start. Second, give yourself the opportunity to just start simple and not make things way too complicated. Like I mentioned, you can do everything you need for a channel pretty much with a smartphone. I have my iPhone sitting on a little tripod on my desk and I sit in front of a window to get natural light. You don't need wild backdrops. You don't need a whole huge array of equipment. You probably have everything you need already sitting a couple inches from you, or maybe you're even watching this video on it right now. Just take some steps and get started, and don't worry about making things much more complicated than they need to be. There are really simple ways to start. Third, give yourself a simple focus of serving and not performing. In no way do you have to worry about becoming an influencer, as the term is bandied about these days. You're just looking to help someone who's a few steps behind the path in what you are. Think of what you would have wanted to know maybe a year ago or 5 years ago in whatever circumstance that you have an ability to be able to share in. That's your audience. That's your content. Just start with that. Fourth, just simply commit to the process. And that means that the process will take you towards perfection, even though it's not going to end up being perfection. The process is going to take you through. I'm feeling really awkward, but I'm going to start. I posted my first video. I could improve on this aspect. So I'm going to make my next video and I'm going to work on that and make it a little bit better. And I'm going to do that. YouTube gives you a wonderful opportunity for incremental progress and incremental change the more that you take action and do just the next step that's in front of you to be able to do. You are not going to be perfect by any stretch when you start, but the fact that you start and the fact that you move forward puts you in a path that is going to make things better the more you go and the more you post. And then finally, number 5, this, like most things in life, gives you the opportunity to remember your why and let that compel you to keep going. This channel is giving you an opportunity for a voice. This channel is giving you an opportunity for impact. This channel could really have a big opportunity to help you push back against that feeling of invisibility and instead give you a place to influence for good. So does any of that capture your attention and give you some ideas that maybe you hadn't been thinking about and give you some confidence to think, I could maybe do that? I really hope it does. Just keep thinking about those two paths. In one, you choose nothing. You change nothing. The invisibility becomes more severe. The quietness continues. The confidence erodes. And chances are no new opportunities are going to come your way because you're effectively closing yourself off to them by making the choice of inaction. I don't like to be harsh sounding and saying that, but I just want to be honest with you, and I want to encourage you to think of that reality. In the other path, you've made a different choice. You decide that your experience matters. You decide that your voice matters. You find a platform to be able to connect with people who are in a position to benefit from what you have to share. And again, think of that 20-year mark. 20 years from now, you might look back and see that opportunities that have come your way would never have the option to show up in your life if you hadn't made the decision to start. Both of those paths are real options. Both of them are possible, but the only one who can make the decision about which one you choose intentionally or the one you choose by inaction, and that's you. I obviously can't make that choice for you, but I will encourage you to think about the wisdom you have to share, the experiences that you walk through, and the things that you have to offer. I think you've earned too much in your life to simply decide that it's easier and better to remain becoming more and more invisible. So here's my challenge for you at this point. Don't overthink this. Just come up with one idea of what you would make a YouTube video about. Then set up your phone and sit in front of a window and just record it. Start talking. Don't think through, oh, this has to have all these different elements to it. Just record that first video. And then, my friend, I'm going to encourage you to actually post it on a YouTube channel and get that first one out of the way. And then think, okay, I didn't die. it was tough, but I did it and I think it feels cringy or whatever. And now you're in a place where you can make the second one. And now you can say, the first one is done. I have more ideas. I am getting more insights as to what I might be able to do moving forward here. And then keep going with that. Then once you've done that, I'd love if you would come back and leave me a comment on this video and just tell me that you did it. I want to cheer you on. I want to encourage you. I want to, just maybe answer questions you have as you want to move forward. Because I know the truth that maybe what you've been feeling, and that's that you were never invisible. You were just in a room where there wasn't enough light to see what you have. So put yourself out on the platform. I'm encouraging you to choose the platform of YouTube and just get started. I encourage you. I believe in you. I'm cheering you on. And I want you to make the intentional choice that doesn't allow you to just shrink back and fade away. Welcome to Path 2, my friend. We can walk it together. Hey, I really appreciate you watching. I hope I have stirred some courage in you. I hope I have stirred some new thoughts. And if you've made it this far, I do encourage you. I have a whole playlist of how to succeed on YouTube over the age of 40. I have that link down in the description as well too. So if you just want to take some time and look through my thoughts on that, I have some practical ideas. I have some sort of content generating ideas and some bunch of other stuff in there too. And I will encourage you that this video, I think, would be a good one to watch right after this one if you want to keep picking up momentum. But no matter what, I hope you start. I hope you choose to walk down the path, and I hope you shut the door to the idea that it's necessary for you to become invisible.